Welcome to the TechMindFactory video blog. I'm super excited that you visited my channel. I hope you will find this video helpful and interesting. If so, please subscribe at the end because this will be the sign for me to produce more videos. And now, enjoy watching. This video is a part of the series Be a Better Azure Developer. And today I would like to show you how to be more efficient developer with Azure Developer Starter Pack. This is a solution I developed to make it easier for others to start development on the Azure cloud. Okay, let's see what I prepared. Probably some of you visited my GitHub repository called Azure Developer Templates. As you remember, there were different code samples, different projects related with using Azure SDK. But I thought that it would be much easier for you to start development when I prepare the ready-to-use solution with ASP.NET Core application and present how to use different Azure SDK samples in one project. So that's why I refactored this repository, and right now what you will find there are different samples related with using Azure SDK, but these samples are integrated in one big ASP.NET Core project. So it will be much easier for you to decide which part you would like to use in your project, and you can just take this part and use it. Okay, here it is, Azure Developer Templates project. As you can see on the left side, there is samples library. If I expand this, you will find out that there are different samples presented. So for instance, there is Azure function with dependency injection, and this is the separate project to show you how to use dependency injection in the Azure Functions projects. But below that, there are also samples related with using Azure SDK for different services, of course. So there is Azure Application Insights, for instance, and here you will find out which packages are used and link to the source code. And please note that even those samples are separate here, all of them are in the one project. Of course, instead of Azure Function with dependency injection, and the last one, Azure Clients integration with ASP.NET Core dependency injection. So all samples like Event Hub, Storage Blobs, Service Bus, SQLDB, SignalR, Cosmos DB, those samples are integrated in one big project called Azure Developer Templates Starter Project on GitHub. If I click this one, you will see that there is this big ASP.NET Core project, and inside this project you will find out how to integrate your solution with different Azure SDK. Okay, so let's jump in the Visual Studio and see what's happening there. Here it is, Azure Developer Templates Starter Project in the Visual Studio. Let's do a quick overview what's happening there. There are three projects in the solution: ASP.NET Core Web API, Core Project, and Infrastructure Project. Inside Infrastructure Project, you can see that there is Services folder. Inside this folder, you will find different implementations of integration with Azure services using Azure SDK for these services. So for instance, in the data folder, you will find classes to integrate with Azure Cosmos DB using Azure Cosmos DB SDK. You will find classes related with integration with SQLDB using Entity Framework Core. In the Events folder, you will see implementation for integration with Event Hub, so Azure Event Hub SDK. In the Messaging folder, you will find integration with Azure Service Bus using Azure Service Bus SDK. Inside Real-Time Messaging folder, there is contract for exchanging messages with Azure SignalR service. And in a Storage folder, there is implementation for integration with Azure Storage Account for uploading blobs. So I encourage you to visit this repository on GitHub and review this source code. What I did also, I applied some interesting patterns and helpful patterns that you can use in your projects. So, for instance, there is a configuration for each of these services And in the Web API project, here in the core folder, there is dependency injection folder, and here you will find out different extensions, how to integrate those different Azure services with ASP.NET Core API. So for instance, there is messaging service collection extensions, and here in this static class you will find out how to integrate Azure Service Bus in your ASP.NET Core project. As you can see here, what I'm doing here, there are different settings, different configurations for those Azure services. For instance, here I have iMessaging service configuration, and I'm using this configuration to register new Service Bus client. And then I'm able to integrate my solution and exchange messages with Service Bus and also send those messages. Of course, this is for the Service Bus, but you will find out that there are different configurations for Azure services. What I also did, I added Swagger to this application, so I will present this in a minute. So you can just take this implementation and use this in your projects to display a Swagger page. This is the main page of this project, so Swagger page, Azure Developer Template Starter API. So as you can see, Swagger is already implemented in this solution. What I also did, I added authorize option. So here if you use JWT tokens authentication, you can use it in your project. So as you can see, everything is integrated. You can just take this code and use this code in your solution. Okay, let's get back to the solution to see some more details. I've also used background services in the ASP.NET Core project to handle events from the Event Hub, to handle and receive messages from the Azure Service Bus, and to process files uploaded in the files controller. So if I open Events Background Service, for instance, you will see that there is implementation for receiving messages, events from the Event Hub in the background in this Web API project. So I encourage you to visit my GitHub repository and review this source code. Okay, what is also implemented in this solution is configuration validation. What I did here, we have different configurations, as I mentioned, for different services. So here is a static class, configuration service collection extensions. And as you can see here, we adding different settings for Azure services. So for Service Bus, Cosmos DB, SQL DB, Azure B2C, SignalR, etc. And what we have to do, we have to validate these settings. So what I did, I added this validation. Let's see it in action. Let's take Application Insights service configuration as an example. As you can see in the infrastructure project, in the configuration folder, there is Application Insights Service Configuration class. And this class implements iApplication Insights Service Configuration interface. If I open this interface, you will find out that there is only instrumentation key that is used to connect with Application Insights. And what I want to do, I would like to verify if this parameter, if this configuration parameter was passed, and if not, I don't want to start Web API application. So that's why below there is Application Insights Service Configuration Validation class, and this class implements interface iValidate options. And as you can see here, it's validation for Application Insights Service Configuration. And inside validate method, I'm checking if instrumentation key is not null or empty. If it's empty, there will be validation option result returned as failed, and there will be description that instrumentation key configuration parameter for Application Insights is required. And this implementation is made for all services in this project. So not only for the Application Insights, but also for Azure AD B2C, Cosmos DB, Event Hub, Azure Service Bus, and other services. What I've also used in this solution is system threading channels namespace. And in this case, I use channels to process files uploaded to the Web API controller. Because as you know, if the client uploads more than one file, it can take a few minutes to get the response from the Web API. So to make it faster, I use channels here. And if I open Files Controller, you will find out that in this implementation, I'm using a file processing channel class. And this class is responsible for handling files uploaded to the controller. And those files will be queued to be uploaded to the Azure Blob storage. So the response will be returned much faster to the client than a standard upload implementation. This was of course a short overview of the solution I've implemented, but I really encourage you again to check my GitHub repository called Azure Developer Templates. I hope you will find this project helpful and interesting, and this will help you start development on the Azure Cloud Platform. I also encourage you to visit Azure SDK latest releases for .NET, because here you will find all the new packages for the Azure SDK for different services, together with link to the NuGet package, documentation and source code available on GitHub. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it interesting and helpful. If you have any additional questions, do not hesitate to contact me either on Twitter or LinkedIn. And of course, I encourage you to visit my blog techmindfactory.com. See you in the next video.